Good evening, everybody. Patrick here, Nowhere to Go show. Just going to run through this kind of stuff real quick. Big news today from the Disney World. Not just Disney World, and Disney in general, specifically Disney World in Orlando. Today was annual pass holder previews go in, which was pretty exciting. We kind of saw a lot of things of how it's going to be in Disney, where obviously the guidelines we saw over in Shanghai. We've seen how the employees are. You've seen the mask. We've even seen just kind of how some of the rides are going to operate. Just kind of what we've seen at Universal Studios. But that's not even the big thing. The big thing today, and actually it wasn't even announced till last night. I was sitting on my couch over there and scrolling. Wife was playing Last of Us 2, and I was like, just scrolling. Oh, wow. Disney announced, hey guys, we're going to sell tickets to everybody starting tomorrow, today. And the reason that's a big deal is because they were pretty much like, it's up in the air. We're going to do annual pass holders first. We're going to do those who had prior reservations, those who had prior booked hotels, and just waiting on the dates to open. So it was really unsure whether anyone would be going to Disney World this year, the rest of 2020, without having one of those preconditions. What's neat about that is obviously they kind of found it out quickly that I guess, one, they're running well, and the idea is it's worked well for Universal, and that the odds are it's going to work well for Disney. I mean, they don't usually fall short when it comes to anything like that. The other thing is, what I've seen is strictly based on those reservations, is that Disney was not filling 100% capacity because they are doing the Park Pass reservation system now, meaning you set your vacation or your days you're going, and it's not like you can just go into whatever park. It is simple. You choose what park you're going into that day, which is going to help, obviously, keep that crowd control in the amount of folks that are going to be trying to come in. Also limiting park hopping, so people can't just start here and then hop over here. So that in mind, we were, as myself and a large group of people, every year we go to Orlando. We call it Orlando Shenanigans, and we do a vacation. This year is actually the third iteration, Orlando Shenanigans 3. And we had actually an interest meeting last week, and we were just like, okay, so looks like we're definitely doing Universal. Disney may not happen, and we kind of talked about what would happen. And then, of course, last night it hit, and I was like, all right, guys, we're going to Disney. So we went on this morning, I did, and just kind of looking through, I'll kind of walk you through how my experience went. Is when I went on the website, actually, it was very seamless, kind of like normal. You set up what days you're arriving, and I do a hotel package, so choose the amount of folks you're going to be with. In our case, it was 6 in one room, 3 in another. And when you click it, it kind of pulls up, and just like normal, I didn't find really any delay times on there whatsoever, which was really nice, because when I heard that tickets first went for those annual pass holders and everything to prepare for the opening this week, then it was kind of craziness, a little bit of chaos, and we're talking downtimes for hours and hours. This really wasn't too bad, and I kind of scooted right through, got to the pricing, broke it down, made sense, confirmed it with my party. I will say the one thing is on one of the rooms, I made a mistake, and I needed to put someone else's lead as someone couldn't make it, and couldn't really do it on the website, I guess, because once you set someone as lead, that's it. You can't switch that up. So I called Disney, and I will say that wait time, and they told me when I got on, they said due to high call volume, obviously COVID, et cetera, first day that they're kind of opening ticket sales for the general public here, and they were fine. They said it's probably gonna be an hour, and sure enough, it was like an hour and 2 minutes. I was working, so I just had it sitting there. When I picked up, the young woman took care of me pretty well. I mean, it ended up being just like, oh, you just have to cancel. We can switch that, refund you the money. You just put the money on a new one. Fair enough. So I waited an hour, which I know a lot of people are like, that's crazy, but it's figured it out. So just keep in mind, if you're going to be calling Disney for any information, you're going to have these extended wait times. So be patient with them. I would assume the same goes for Universal Studios. Horror Nights, that's part of what our group does. So I kind of want to talk about that. Just a quick couple tips too with Disney planning of how to get this, and I'll just fly through it, maybe do a video later on kind of in depth with actually images of how to really get the best bang for your buck going to Disney. One, know what you want to do. If you've never been to Disney, it is very overwhelming. Do not think you can see it all in a few days, because you can't. You can't even see it all in a week. I'm not going to lie. Especially when the park's at full capacity, it's pretty intense. It's overwhelming in a very good way. Disney is magic. Same thing goes for Universal. It's absolutely breathtaking. It's fun. That's why I don't mind going every year, and it's a good escape. Two is just look around the website. There's always some kind of deals going on, whether it's through hotels, dining plans, things like that. And my recommendation is definitely do these packages where it's all inclusive. So that's what I like about the Disney World website. Right on the main page, you'll see it's typically right on the top. You see pick dates, create vacation. It says something along those lines. It's extremely simple. When you click it, it walks you through the steps. At the same time, a little box will pop up with the fairy godmother saying, would you need to chat with someone? So you can talk live with someone. I'm not sure the wait times on that, as I typically do the planning myself. But that's what you want to look for. Look for, if you're looking for kind of the best price, look for non-peak seasons. We're talking non-summer. We're talking kind of those winter months. If you go during these holidays, it's going to be a little pricier, and you'll find that Disney day tickets are a little more pricey during these peak seasons. Also depends if you go for a weekend versus a weekday. So a lot of different things that go into it that can help dictate kind of what you're going to be paying and how your experience is going to go. Another thing is obviously just don't overwhelm yourself. Go enjoy yourself, but don't think, if I don't see everything, I'm going to have a bad time. Because again, if you try going thinking you're going to see everything in one park, you're going to be seriously let down, because there's so much. And especially in these ever-growing parks like Hollywood Studios with Galaxy's Edge, though that is still the smallest Disney park, you're finding these wait times, and it's quickly becoming some of the best rides. So if you find yourself going to Hollywood Studios and you're like, I know I want to ride Slinky Dog Dash, or I definitely want to just spend a lot of time in Star Wars, just plan that accordingly. And because you may only be able to do a couple of them, the ones with it. The other recommendation is the fast passes. One thing I love about Disney World is you get 3 fast passes a day. Actually, can be more. Essentially, what you're doing is you're going to go on the website or on the application, My Disney Experience app, and you're going to set those fast passes, what times, and there's tiers, which I'll go through later at a different time. And once you use that third pass while you're in the park, you can actually quickly log on and go select another one. So it makes it really easy. So without having to pay for those extra fast passes, everything like that. Now keep in mind, they go quick. Disney typically lets you do it several days in advance if you have a hotel reservation. I believe at one point it was 90 days. I want to say it's 60 days right now. Same thing as with dining plans. If you're doing any kind of dining or reservation, or hey, I want to hit up the Be Our Guest restaurant in Magic Kingdom, do this way in advance. These are very popular restaurants. They're to the point where it's kind of the norm to go. Now, when you're in the parks, yes, you can get lucky. That My Disney Experience app is amazing. You're going to find yourself on there, not only check, ride times to quickly run to, so keep in mind you have that. But when you're like, oh man, we didn't get that reservation for Be Our Guest, or et cetera, you can go on. And what I usually do, and I've gotten lucky within days, I'm in the park like, oh man, I forgot to put the reservation in for tomorrow. Clicking, and it's just periodically through the day. And lo and behold, as long as you don't have a huge party, you're going to find these times just alleviate, whether people cancel or things like that, and they pop up. So just never give up on that if you want to do. But planning further ahead is the best option. Another thing a lot of people don't realize with Disney is you can set up a payment plan, that in Universal. So ahead of time, essentially, you can plan your vacation. There's no set time. I want to say maybe up to a year, 2 years in advance. I don't know the exact time, but typically most people are not that far out from planning their vacation, but you can. And the beauty of it is you set everything, you get your total amount, and you're like, okay, especially if you're going to whole family, okay, that's a hefty price. You typically only have to put, consistently what I've done is $200 deposit. You put $200 down, and then the total amount is typically due 30 days before your vacation starts. So meaning you're not on a strict payment schedule. So you kind of have this freedom to save up as you will, put down as much as or as little as you need when you can. If you get an extra check or you just pick up some cash, but throw it at that vacation. And that's extremely useful as typically these vacation packages can be a little pricey for some who've never experienced something like it. And that alleviates most of the stress. And again, it's due 30 days before the vacation. So you're prepared. And once you make that last payment, I'm telling you, it's a sweet spot. You know, you're a month away. And it kind of sets you up and goes forward from there. On-site hotels, I definitely recommend outweighing the prices of staying off-site Airbnbs. Yes, you save a little more money up front, but then you have costs such as parking at the park, which typically is $25 a day, plus other maybe applicable fees. But the big thing for me is exhaustion. You go to the park, you're probably going to spend some time in there, especially if you don't live in Florida. You're going to get tired. At the end of the day, after you've been around out in the sun, you've been riding all these rides. If you've been to Epcot and you're doing drinking around the world, you're going to be tired. And especially if you've been drinking, it's nice to hop right on one of these Disney buses right to your resort. And if you're staying at the Art of Animation Studios, or a couple like I believe the Riviera, and there's another one, the new Skyliner, which opened last year, is a really cool, unique experience. That's essentially a gondola system that goes over the city. So you're watching all the traffic below, and you leave right from your resort right to the parks, and it goes to Epcot and Hollywood Studios at this time. I'm sure there's plans to expand that out to the other parks eventually. So I recommend staying on site. The Value Resorts, again, Art of Animation typically is where I stay at, and that's such a good option because you're right there. You get all these extra passes, and typically when you're on site, if they have extra magic hours, meaning there's these additional hours you can get into the park early before a regular guest, simply because you are a resort guest. So sometimes I've seen extra magic hours in the fall where you get into the parks 3 hours early. And then, I mean, it's crack of dawn, I'm not going to lie. But I'll tell you what, you beat all the crowds. You're able to ride several rides that are open and kind of get that experience in before the rush of everything piles in. So that's just a few tips. Maybe I'll do a little more in depth, kind of how I do my planning of vacation, go through some of my notes and kind of show it, and then do that sometime. I'm actually about to go through and just fill out a bunch of my notes, making sure I got everything in check. But I do appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, if you like kind of talking about Disney, I love Disney, Universal, all things horror nights. I think I'm going to do a horror night speculation thing. We've been seeing some teases soon, so just keep your eye out for that. And again, any input you can give me, I'm all ears. Anything you can, please do. I appreciate you guys. Anything I can do forward to me, comment below, like, subscribe, comment, share. And in the future, again, I'm going to try to do it Nowhere to Go show. I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to do giveaways. I'm going to do all kinds of fun stuff. Maybe start doing some vlog when I go to these parks and do our annual vacation. So again, thank you guys. I hope you're having a good evening. I'll see you later.